Natural building means taking responsibility for designing structures that are very low impact. It's a deep connection. I mean, our culture, I believe, suffers from a lack of connection to everything, to each other, to nature. There's this connection that's lost. And when you go into a structure like this, you're going back thousands of years to deep connection. What's important is that people feel good, you know, they feel inspired. If people found themselves more in these kind of spaces, people, I think, would find life more satisfying. I think there would be this quality of life that is enhanced by having structures that are not only healthy, but inspiring and helping us to become, you know, who we really want to be.
Ben brought us to some of his design sites and elaborated on just what it means to be a natural builder.
As natural builders, we're looking to use what is locally available in a way that's very unprocessed. So on our mudroom addition, which is around on the lakeside, the wall system is a 12-inch thick wood chip clay wall infill. Basically dry, soft wood chips ranging in size from sawdust to about 1.5 inches, mixed with enough clay to hold it together inside the wall. It allows the material to go monolithically around the whole wall, thereby achieving a higher overall R rating for the wall. And then that's plastered over with our earthen plaster mix. And we actually went into the woods here, selected trees based on their form and how they're going to work with the design. We brought those trees back, you know, worked them, created the joinery with traditional timber framing tools.
Typically when you hear about a homeowner using the trees from the lot, it means they've cut the trees and they've cut them into 2x4s and such structural dimension. Here, as we'll see, you don't do that. You keep it integral.
Exactly, and there's several reasons for doing that. Primarily, the embodied energy is less because we're not, you know, moving it to some place where it gets milled. There's also a great appeal for the form of the natural tree, and as natural builders, we often try to make that connection. These are materials that are coming from the natural landscape, and they're reminding us of the connection that we are in relationship with these resources to help create shelter in a way that is inspiring us to go out into the world and have good relationship. Structurally, trees grow in a spiral. When that goes through a mill, you cut away that spiral, and so we're preserving that in these structures by using the round shapes.
Plus it looks awesome.
It's absolutely beautiful. The experience of being in a structure that is made from the earth, from the natural materials right around, when the owner knows that what's in this wall comes from their own landscape, there's this deeper connection that's made. There's this inspiration that comes from the structure that they're living in, their home. This is their home. It's less impact on the overall environment. We're using local materials. We're not spending lots of oil to transport materials from far distances.
Ben took us to another one of his design projects. This Waldorf schoolhouse in East Montpelier is made out of straw.
It's going to be anywhere from about an R30 to an R45. So this can be up to twice the insulation value of a standard wall in a conventional house. It's what we call a reciprocal roof frame, which incorporates a natural spiral structure to make a more efficient frame, and it's also more beautiful. We really focused on using natural daylighting through window placement, through the solar tubes that you see here, and also the oculus in the top of the structure. It also makes sense because it's supporting an existing local economy. It's supporting farmers. There are already farmers going out in machines designed to harvest straw and to turn them into bales. We're so disconnected from where things come from. We don't really understand the impact of going to Home Depot and buying wood from the West Coast or buying wood from South America. we don't feel the impact. I mean, we're buying that wood at a cost that is just unreal. We start interacting with the community in ways that we haven't before. We're making these connections. So not only are we building cool buildings, but we're building community.
Ben's discussion of straw bale structures really got me thinking. So I traveled to Shelburne to get a close look at a straw bale home.
I'm Laurie Smith. I'm a design builder in Shelburne. I've been in the industry for most of my life and have a passion for designing spaces that people really feel comfortable living in.
I'm Rita Frederick. I'm a psychotherapist and I also am a yoga teacher. And I work out of my home, which is such a pleasure. It's our beautiful home. The space is wonderful, but I also don't need to drive. I don't spend much money on gas. I have animals here and I can, you know, be connected with them as well.
Yeah, so I mean, 10 years ago when you built this house, were you nervous? Did you have anxieties about the fact this was, you know, unproven technology and you didn't know what you were getting yourself into?
No, I don't mind taking risks.
Laurie didn't at all. I did. I had never seen one. We were, you know, building this home together. I wanted it to be stable. I wanted it to be a good investment.
As we live and spend our lives in this house, what really is most attractive about it are the lines and the feel inside the house.
Mm-hmm. The feeling of connection, which often people are missing to some degree.
There is also a very viable environmental consideration in that straw is a waste agricultural product grown annually that can produce a super insulated housing structure.
We live in Vermont. It's a long, long winter, and our house is really efficient. The heat stays really even, and the straw holds so much. It just kind of encompasses, you know, it's like it embraces us.
Radiant heat is heat that is integrated into the floor system and heats a large surface to a low temperature so that the heat literally radiates into the space as opposed to getting into the space by convection or by forced air. Thermal mass is it's a bunch of material that can hold heat.
So if I understand correctly, in a radiant floor, what you have are these tubes running underneath, and there's hot water circulating, and that's what heats up the thermal mass. But the way you're heating up the hot water is quite unique in this house. Tell me about that.
The source of hot water for our house comes from three places. It comes from solar panels on the roof that heat the hot water and store it in a tank in the basement. Also comes from our masonry wood stove, which has a coil in it as well. And thirdly, it comes from our domestic hot water heater. We do not have a conventional furnace in this house.
A house in Vermont with no furnace, you know, seems impossible.
One thing that I tried to demonstrate in building this house is that square foot cost does not necessarily have to go up to provide an environmentally efficient house.
Things can be energy efficient, they can use a sustainable method, and feel good, feel really good.
Just getting that headset that, wow, I can really do this, and it can be enjoyable and functional and efficient and affordable is really important.